It's midday and Mum and Dad are sleeping off their heroin. The floor is littered with toys and dirty clothes. There is dried vomit on the lounge. There is blood splattered on the wall from the last time that Dad bashed Mum mercilessly. Thankfully, no broken bones this time, only bruising. This is the real world for children in a home that I visit often. Professor Fiona Stanley, last year's Australian of the Year, speaks of Australian children as growing up in a toxic society, a very apt description in my experience as a primary chaplain. But I want to suggest that a chaplaincy service can act as a potent antidote to counteract the symptoms caused by these toxins, as well as playing a valuable preventative role. I'd like to describe for you just some of the toxic situations that I have encountered. Children feeling rejected and abandoned because mum or dad say they love them, but they choose to live somewhere else. Young girls sexually abused by grandfathers and uncles who have betrayed their trust. Children running through the door after an activity to discover dad's lifeless body hanging. An 11-year-old boy being teased by his mates because mum's new partner is a woman. People deliberately befriending vulnerable families to give pedophiles access to children. A 10-year-old boy who packs his bag every fortnight and waits at McDonald's, but dad never turns up as promised. Children indulged with material things, but longing for mum and dad to spend time with them. Children growing up with no boundaries, no absolute moral or ethical framework, in a spiritual vacuum. Mum's in jail, dad's dying of cancer, I could go on. We cannot expect children to focus in class or to realise their full potential in school while dealing with these kinds of problems. A chaplaincy service can support children and families by providing a listening ear, giving time out with an adult that they can trust, validating feelings, and developing coping strategies. Now, we may not be able to change the situation that the children live in, but we can help them build emotional resiliency. In the school where I work, we also provide programs to help kids deal with grief and loss, manage anger, develop social skills, build self-esteem, and work through anxiety and depression. Children really enjoy these activity-based programs and the peer support of the small group situation. An effective chaplaincy service is a team involving other members of the community. At my school, one volunteer, Christine, facilitates a supportive play group. Arwen uses singing, dance and clowning to develop self-confidence. Tim Mander teaches RE and coaches football. That's when he's not off reffing in the UK. And Laurie is developing an adventure-based program for boys, providing positive male role models. By supporting the family, we are supporting the child, and our chaplaincy service facilitates a parent support group, a prayer group, referrals to professional counselling and specific support networks, transport, meals, hampers, financial support, parenting discussions, social outings, craft mornings, visiting hospitals, jails, etc. Recently, we were able to support a family where a young mum had been diagnosed with postnatal depression. Her partner rang, sobbing and pleading for help, as he could no longer care for their 3 young children and manage his partner's psychotic behaviour. On 3 occasions, she had been taken to hospital by ambulance and refused admission, and approaches to all government and community agencies that I had recommended had failed. For me, the bottom line was, what would Jesus do? With the help of my husband Terry, we were able to get her to an after-hours medical centre and eventually get her to hospital, where she was admitted for 7 weeks treatment. This family was extremely grateful to have someone to talk to at 3 o'clock in the morning for an hour until the ambulance came on a previous occasion, someone that the primary age children could talk to, someone to organise practical support such as child-minding, meals, and someone to visit the mental health unit. The support of a chaplain can give the courage and the hope to go on. Primary schools are positioning themselves as the hub of the community. A chaplaincy service is strategic and effective because it is personal, local and accessible, and therefore can provide ongoing support. I passionately believe that we can make a difference in the life of a child. And that's why I have spent 7 years in the trenches where it's not always comfortable. Can we afford not to deliver this vital antidote in a toxic age and so bring hope to a young generation?